What's going on, everyone? Kelly Cavalier here, one half of 7 Era Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode 84. Almost end of the year, guys. We got just about a week till Christmas. Real quick, huge shout out to all the boys at Streamline as the Christmas event kicked off yesterday. We did the schedule release party, and they had some great teachers going on, more great teachers today and performances, and they will continue on throughout the weekend. Just a couple things real quick, guys. Don't forget, head over YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, like, subscribe, follow. You don't miss anything, okay? You don't want to miss anything we're ever going to post. That way you can be tuned in at all times. Also, don't forget, every Tuesday, Honky Tonk Highway hits the radio waves online Instant Radio. That's right, 2 to 4 UK time, 9 a.m. to 11 here on the East Coast of the U.S. We are live on the Honky Tonk Highway online dance radio. I'm playing great hits every week. Also, guys, if you don't have time to watch the shows, we are a podcast now. That's right. I take all the audio out, post it. We're up on Spotify and Apple iTunes to go check that out. So today's topic and guest. This could lead to some questions, guys. Don't forget, like every time we have all these topic conversations, I say, what's said on here is the opinion of the people on this show. It's not necessarily the opinion of everyone, but it's our opinion. With the Crystal Boots coming up, we the 15th of December, we just had the people nominations end. I wanted to talk about voting, but that way we got the dances coming up. And I decided to bring on a good friend of mine. We're going to talk about this topic. So, ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, Mr. Dave Morgan. And our topic, why aren't you voting? Oh, Dave, I'm sure we got some tons of stuff we can say about this one, huh?
Good evening, good afternoon. Hello, everybody that's tuned in. Well, thanks for asking me to come on this evening. You must have
Absolutely.
You caught me. Yeah, you caught me in a good mood yesterday. Don't normally do. I normally do this thing, but why not? Hey, well. Voting. Where should we start with this one then? Okay, as you just said, the Crystal Boots are coming up, and what I would like to say is, why do people, those who do vote, why do you just vote at this time of year? Why do you not vote right throughout the year?
Exactly.
And I would like to just sort of say, from the Line Down to Radio point of view, I'd like to point out that we do have now 2 dedicated shows that are held by Dave Baycroft. And it's a monthly show, and I think in one respect it's a great reminder for everyone to get involved while Dave is on. And what better time you can do your voting there and then. You've got a dedicated time once a month.
Absolutely. It's so funny because everyone can see how many people are voting. LineDancerWeb.com, it makes it where we can see how many votes are coming in. You can see how many votes are coming in. So when people go, oh, no, I'm voting. Yeah, no, you're not. We can see that you're not.
No, and you can, that's one thing I actually like about Line Dancer Web, that it is transparent. You actually can see who has voted for what as well.
Absolutely.
So, let's take from my point of view. There's many different reasons. Your question is, why are people not voting? So let's take, for instance, a good example is our own class, Debbie and I's class. We have got a very mixed, a mixed class. We have great fun. We have a percentage of the class who are very, have been line dancing for 20 plus years. They know the names. They follow the dancers. And they vote, and they're very into it. When we teach a dance, some of them will ask straight away, "Who's written this?" It matters. Then we've got a percentage of the class who don't care who's written the dance, and then we've got a percentage who doesn't have a clue who anybody is, and they're not bothered. As long as the music's good and the dance is good, they're happy. But you can go on from that in a different way. People, actually, the awards are coming up, and then you've got what I call tactical voting.
Yes.
How controversial.
So guys out there, please, whoever, if you're join us in the chat. Tell us why you're voting. Why don't you vote? Why aren't you voting? So what I did today, and I'm going to switch it on right here. We are going to go straight to, and yep, it did click over. You're still going to see me and Dave on the right side of your screen, or actually at home, the left side of your screen. But I have the website up here, and it's totally interactive. I have it up on my my computer. So we're going to go through here. And we're going to look at some things. I walked you through how to go and vote for your dances the other day. And like Dave Baycroft just said, voting's not just for Christmas people. I love that.
Absolutely not.
That's
Absolutely
awesome.
not.
But you can head over here in the charts, and I'm going to click on the charts real quick here, and should pull it up. Let's see how slow it's going to go today. Maybe. There we go. So there's the charts. Now, if you see here, you can change the charts, guys. So far, current votes, and now remember, votes change, what? It's every 31 days, right, Dave? Yep.
Yep.
Every
absolutely.
31 days. So you can go and vote pretty much for your favorite dance every month. So, in all honesty, you're getting 12. If you like your favorite dance, you get 12 votes in a year. We can see how many votes have gone for this last 31 days. 11,139 people. This is what I love the best. Let's click on that. It can break it down by country. Hey, so earlier today, this wasn't over 1,000 earlier today, because the UK had over 7,000 votes. The next closest person had 900 and something. So that at least someone went over 1,000, but it's not even close. Like you got 645, then 409, 278, 250, 197. It's not even close. Here with the amount of votes going on. What I don't get that. I know everyone always say, and I know you hear it a lot, Dave, we want to see the dances change. We want to see the dances change, but why aren't they voting for them?
Absolutely. I mean, that's another reason why I started the teaching poll.
Right.
On for line, a weekly poll, and was solely to vote on what instructors were teaching.
Right.
What and again, I opened it up to Dan. Okay, there's people who have different opinions about this. I've had many people tell me how I should run that poll. Well, it works pretty well. Thank you very much. And you give the dancers learn in your classes, and it's literally, be honest, what have you learned this week? I'm not asking you if you like the dance. I don't. In one, you've got line dance, line dancer web to go on to say which dances you're loving, you're liking. That was again for people to get a broader picture of what is out there. It's not just for the UK. I mean, now on the poll, I mean, there's so many international votes. It's amazing. It's brilliant.
Right. I love some of the comments coming in, like Audrey Dance just said, in France, I can easily say that most country dancers don't know about the CBAs and line dancer web and votes. And if they do know, language can be a problem for them to vote. So yeah, that is straight up fair. The language barrier can always be a problem. Absolutely.
I think another point I always like to raise. I mean, everyone likes to throw blame at other people's doors, and well, it's their fault that they don't. It's this, that. Well, and these are all hypothetical. There's not my opinion. These are all hypothetical questions for everyone to consider. So let's go with the choreographer, and say a big choreographer, a named choreographer that is teaching at an event. They do their dances. Do they actively go out there and tell people, say, go and vote for these dancers that you enjoy? Is it down to the instructors in the class? Is it, should the instructors be, saying to your classes, you need to go away and do this. And I know a lot of instructors do, but to some people, it doesn't to them. It doesn't matter. A class once a week. It's a social evening out. It's not just dancing. They're going out to meet their friends. They're going out for a good night out.
Right.
So there's different points you can raise with that. The one thing I noticed with the teaching poll, which I did raise privately with a couple of choreographers. Now I'd like to give a mention to Neville and Julie. And they are fabulous. They vote each time on the poll, and they vote they say, of course, they teach their own dances. They put them on the poll, which is allowed. But then they also list lots of other dancers from other choreographers as well.
Right.
And Carl Harry Winston does it. Jamie Barnfield has started to do it. It's great. They've all started to get involved. But then we've got some choreographers who only put their own dancers on the poll. Now, do they just teach their own dancers? Do they not teach anybody else's?
The question is, are they even teaching right now?
Well, and there's that as well. Are they teaching? I mean, this year's been the most difficult. In terms of voting this year, a lot of people don't possibly feel it's not credible for them to vote because they haven't danced since March.
Right. JP Maz just put up there that Betty is working on translating the website in different languages to fix this problem. So there's one thing. I want to get to one comment, Dave, and Maureen Hanlon just put in here, Dave, one of the big advantages of your poll is the ease of access to it. It's available in the news feed. I don't have to go to another website to vote. Here's my question on this. Would you still be on Facebook if they charged? Would you still be in the middle of social media on Facebook if they charged? What Betty and the crew spent a lot of money to put into this website. And
money. I get the question.
What?
Well, you're absolutely, because the feedback that I've got from doing the teaching poll is that people use it. People use it. They enjoy. They use it. They enjoy using it. So why not?
Right. But
so I'm not. So no. If it's not a no from me just because there's a lot of the answer is free to everybody, to the listeners.
Right.
But it's not.
Line Answer Web is absolutely free.
It's not free to. Yeah.
I don't see the problem. Like, how hard is it? How hard is it to go to another website to vote? You're going to go to that website to look at the step sheet anyway, unless you go to Copperknob.
Yes,
unless you're going to go to Copperknob, that just throws into a whole nother loop of what.
Do you vote on? Do you take? That's a little question. Do people take? Because you can vote on there. Do people take the time to vote? Vote. But yes, absolutely. It's something that I put, each week. I think it was over here from the UK, Chris Lovelock. I think when I was on your show last time in lockdown, she actually, one of her questions to me was, how much time do you spend on doing this and collating the information? We do, it's not just it's not something that I just do in half an hour and then say, yeah, right, okay, that's it till the following week. So I love to see what people are doing. If from a personal point, as an instructor, I look down that list each week and I think, oh, what's that? I haven't, I think, right, who's this dance? Who's it? And I go and check it out, and it doesn't, it can be from somebody I've never heard of.
Right.
It's raises we're going off it a bit, but it also raises the conversation of, well, do people only pick a dance from people they've heard of?
That's another huge thing.
But that's another show, and you can do that with somebody else.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. We can go on for ages on that. But on the voting thing, and this is the one thing I want to get back. You said it perfectly because they vote on your poll. Those instructors, you don't see the instructors voting on Line Dancer. You don't see you have a handful, but you don't see instructors voting at all. Not even just for themselves, but you don't see them voting for other instructors either. I find that
it's true.
Like what I'm kind of curious why. Are they just afraid of because it's publicly seen and everyone can see who you vote for? Like if you scroll down here, like I have all countries now, so I can see everybody who's voted for these. Like here are the top right now in the last 31 days. This is all levels, all countries, everything. We have Seat Attraction has had 133 votes.
Yep.
So out of 11,139 votes, this dance got what, 1%? 1%?
Yeah, I mean
1%? I just that's low in my opinion. I would assume that the top vote getter would be a lot higher. Out of when the vote number is that, considering all the dances right now. Like
your other thing for voting is then going from country to country of who actively votes every month.
Right. Like I'm scrolling down looking at some of these dances that have gotten votes, and Elaine just said, and I can contest this because we just looked at how many votes the U.S. has. It says, Kelly, I think a lot of people in Canada, even the U.S., are not aware of Line Dancer Mag or radio. You can be a great link between these countries to promote it. Well, I've been trying my darndest, and it's funny because me and Dave talk about this all the time. People always are saying they want the change. They want to see different winners. They want to see different dances go out there, but they're not voting for it. We tell them exactly how to get the change, but they're not following through in it.
Now, I'm going to throw in something here. There was a comment that was made to me a good month ago, probably over a good month ago, from a choreographer. And the choreographer in question was doing pretty well with various dances in the teaching. Quite rightly so. Some great dancers in there. And that came up was, well, like you've said, the people can easily access. They can vote on my poll. Now, and I will phrase it the way it was phrased at the time. Was my poll a distraction? Was my poll a distraction from people voting on Line Dancer Web? I don't see why it should be.
I don't
because
either.
It's totally different. I'm doing a weekly. It's what you're doing week by week. I'm not asking you what you're doing month by month.
But not only that, you're asking what they're teaching. It's not even what they like. You're asking what people are teaching. A lot of people will teach a dance that they necessarily don't like, but if all their students want to learn it, they're going to teach it to them. Even if they don't necessarily like it enough to vote for it, they're going to teach it to it because that's what their students want to learn. Mm-hmm. That's plain and simple.
Everyone does. Of course, everyone dances at different levels. So I suppose you're also going to think about. Let's take, for instance, the beginner or absolute beginner category. A lot of classes, your pupils who come along to your classes, they're the absolute beginners. They're starting out. So you're not going to, in one respect, I wouldn't expect, if I was holding like years gone by with absolute beginner classes, I would never expect them to go out and vote.
Right.
So, I mean, that, I'm trying to you're trying to look at from all angles of why people don't vote. But I do feel that maybe, if that's we want people to be active. Like it was years ago. So, Line Dancer magazine was the Bible for most people, or it was in the UK. And we waited every month, we waited for that magazine. This is before, the internet kicked in. And we waited for that magazine to drop through the door once a month. And we rushed to find out what was in the chart and what dancers were there. And over here, there was a sort of uniformity. There was always a north and south divide in the UK of what was being done down south and what was being done up north. And but again, when it came to the voting side of things, especially of course when the Crystal Boots, everybody started voting.
We just got a great comment from Mr. Michael Lynn in the house, our own sparkly shorts man himself, and he put in here. This is an interesting point. I spoke to an A-lister choreographer / instructor at an event. They say they don't vote at all because they don't want to upset other choreographers for not voting for their dances, especially when it's being so public. They said they didn't want to cause friction with another professional by not voting for their dances, and that's why they don't vote. I'm going to say this, and I made this pretty vocal, and Dave knows my opinion on this. I did my Crystal Boot nominations live on the air. Guys, we're talking about line dancing. We're not talking about, I go, y'all have no problems posting about issues with our president, issues with your prime minister, issues with this pandemic, issues with all this other stuff with people, but you have an issue with publicly displaying who you're supporting in our industry? I find a problem with that. Y'all have no problems making posts about everything else in this world, but you have a problem with showing your support for someone in this world, in our industry, especially now. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I don't get it. The same people who make posts about everything else, they have a problem with because they're afraid they might hurt someone's feelings. You don't care if you hurt someone's feelings with your political post or your post about the pandemic.
I mean, I with that point as well, I don't, taking politics and all that aside, I don't get that comment from whoever that was, that you don't vote because you don't vote for somebody's dance because
right.
what because it's going to upset the other choreographer down the road. No, I don't get that at all. You can like many dancers by many choreographers, and I'll be honest myself. Okay, I'm not going to use names. All right, but so I'll say choreographer A. Okay, right. Choreographer A. I would say maybe I love 95% of their dancers.
Right.
But there will be a percentage of their dancers, I'm sorry, I don't like. And whether it's because of the music or whether it's actually the dance doesn't flow, I'm sorry. But and Scott Blevins agreed with me on something many, many years ago about this. Regardless of how top of the game you are, you don't always come up with the goods or a hit dance every single time. And every top choreographer has had dancers that have got lost in time, that they whether that's because they released 12 in 1 week, there's many different reasons for that. And again, but then you then you go to choreographer B, they might release 5 dancers a year, and what they do is fabulous. But I just don't get why you can't go and vote for a particular dance. Right. You might vote for that another dance from the other choreographer. I don't know what you put that down to. You'd think on that one, who's got the insecurity? Right. Is it the choreographer that has wondered why someone hasn't voted? Is it the choreographer that doesn't want to vote for the other one? And the other subject as well is, what about a dance? It's a piece of music comes out and there's 6 dances written to it. Now that I can understand when somebody says, well, actually, they have a difficulty voting on that. I get.
I can see that. I can see that. I can 100% see. But that's not always the case either, because like I remember at one point, and I'll say it, when JP and Tim released the Dance to Broke, the song by Teddy Swams and Thomas Rhett. In the same week, well, before that, Michelle Wright had one up that was in the top 10 on Copper Knob for weeks. Within a couple days of each other, Tim and JP released one, and then Trevor Thornton and Wendy Smith over here released one. At one point in time, all 3 dances were in the top 20 of most viewed dances on Copper Knob. So people have no problems looking at them all. Have no problems looking at them all. And you don't need to. skip over it.
I mean, I have to say, I vote. I do vote monthly, and
Right.
I'll admit before, yeah, and I'll admit before, I didn't always vote monthly, and it is, I will say it is because of Dave's show. I mean, if I'm off, and it's a reminder of, right, okay, let's renew. Maybe, don't forget you can renew your votes as well. It's not like you have to.
Right.
There's a wipeout. You have time to renew if you're currently doing something or you've loved something from day one and you want to keep voting for it. Keep renewing that vote, guys. It's I don't see what's difficult now with this site. Some people still, I don't, yes, the previous Line Dancer website was quite, probably was sophisticated, and it was too technical, and it wasn't easy. Maybe for some people it wasn't easy, but this one is, and you
Right.
just literally you look your dance and click vote, and away you go. Dancers are listed in your own profile of what you've voted for, and that's what I do. But I think again, it's all down to with Michael's comment. Really, guys, it's down to support, and I isn't. I'm not being funny, but regardless of voting, are we not? Should we not be supporting each other? That's
Right.
what
I
it.
agree.
That's at the end of the day, that's what it's about as well. That's what it's about as far as I'm concerned. Now, there's lots obviously this year. This is another show. But the digital age has exploded this year because that's all people have had.
Right.
You think, and I can understand why people have done what they're doing, and at some point, yeah, I think I got comments from friends, and I got comments that it all at some point much, and they don't know who to support. So you've got events going on here, there, and everywhere all at the same time, and
Right.
then you also that. So yeah, I just think guys, there's a lot of people out there at the minute, and I will say this that don't for no fault or bad way sometimes about what they're doing. And so, like, I'll take for instance tomorrow. So, like, say tomorrow, Streamline are doing their whole Christmas weekend, which is fab, absolutely brilliant. And those guys have worked so hard this year, and I mean the whole, and I don't mean just the boys. I mean the whole team that's involved, in whatever capacity. But again, so we've hosted, say, on Line Dancer Radio, we host shows where we are a 24/7. If you like, we've been doing, as you know, an after dark show. Well,
Right.
tomorrow I was scheduled for tomorrow. Well, I've moved the show. I'm not doing it tomorrow. I've moved it to Tuesday to my slot because there's other things going on. And I just think that should, okay, right. These guys are doing that this weekend. Why don't we all go and support this particular event? I don't, and I'm going to put that in context with voting. So
Right.
go and vote, regardless. If a choreographer's upset with you because you didn't vote for their dance, and you've got one that's over the moon because you did, hey, you
Right.
can't please everybody all of the time. It's like when you run a dance class. You can teach a dance to your class that you think your class is going to love, and it bombs,
Yeah.
and you don't know why. You stand there shocked, and then you try and justify what you've taught, and you say, well, it's by so and so because you like the last dance. I don't like that one. So
Right.
I'm trying to draw in, these are all conversations. These are things as well that that people have said maybe too frightened to say. You know me. I don't usually do this, Kelly. To get me to come on tonight,
No, I know.
you've done
I
wonders.
I brought I brought
Um,
I brought you a topic that I knew interests you and you had opinion on, and me and you both have that same opinion. We're not gonna
I don't.
sugarcoat stuff.
I'm not. I'm not a pointing the finger. It's like,
Right.
well, that's your fault that that's not what it's not what it's about. I mean, people have personal reasons for doing everything. So, uh, hey ho. I'm not come on tonight to upset anybody or
No, we
yeah.
literally did this to wonder why aren't you voting? Because so I'm gonna put it back up. I'm gonna put back the screen share where we're gonna go back. And right now I have the absolute beginner category up for the last 31 days. This is the absolute beginner category, and these are the thing right now. When you smile and Miss Blair Morgan, happiness for you, are tied at the top with 56 votes. Okay, you got Rocket to the Sun. There's a dance now from 7 years ago that is still in the 3. Okay, but this is the one thing I like, and Debbie said this a minute ago, guys. If you don't want people to know what you have voted for, you can make your username anything you want. It doesn't have to identify who you are. And trust me, when I've looked at some of these and I've seen some of these usernames, I wonder where they come up with them. But like, we can take a look. If we can click view dance, and it's gonna look thing. It brings it up. There's an amount of votes.
I'm gonna raise. I'm gonna raise. I think the point of, if you have it, you could look at that as it's a false profile. Now,
Right.
if that's
the other question too.
But that's something I don't agree with. I don't, in the fact at the end of the day, guys, why can you not be transparent?
Right.
Why can you not be, and that's my issue with that. You might go down a list of names. Great. All right. I'll take, okay. Blair's dance, for instance. All right. I'll do that because, all right, she's my daughter. I'm going to support my daughter regardless. But that doesn't mean I haven't voted for other people's dances. Like you said, Rocket to the Sun is a 7-year-old dance, and to say that it's still, and it's number 3, number 2, number 3, or whatever in the
number
charts
3 an
now.
absolute beginner right now.
Right. That's right. So number 3, but all that says to me is that it's a damn good dance. It's lasted 7 years. It's out there. People loved it, and it is just a great fun dance. Blair taught it on Streamline. She taught it at they did their Crystal Boots Award, show. She taught it on there. But you look down the list. All right. I'm going to take, for instance, Blair's dance. If anyone wants to go and look who's voted for her dance, okay. Yep. There's people on that list. I don't know who they are. I don't know where. I've never met them. I don't know who they are. And if they're enjoying Blair's dance, great. But okay, you might go down. There's a profile there that says Les. Okay, it says Les. Les is Blair's granddad. Okay. Now, Blair's granddad is going to vote for Blair. Okay, he is so he's so proud of his granddaughter, and also my parents aren't full-on line dancers. They don't go to class as such. But this year they have made an effort at home to actually watch things and actually learn some easier dances. So yes, my parents have both learned Blair's dance. So my dad has voted for it. I just think, is there too much of that? That raises the other question. Well, do you all feel that it should be do you all feel that it should be anonymous?
I don't.
I don't. You take the politics side of it. The politics side, all right. So you're voting for a president or a prime minister or whatever. Your vote is anonymous. You don't have to tell people who you voted for. Do people feel that it's, I'm going to chuck that one in the mix. Do people feel that it should be that way? I don't.
I don't either.
I don't either. But no, but this is what I said earlier. Again, the controversial side of it. When I said the tactical voting, and I don't care what anyone says, it happens. Do you, again, at the end of the day, do you vote? I'm asking. Do you know? I've turned this out to the, to people who's watching. I'm just reading the comments that are coming up now.
So I have a couple. I have some people that said that they have voted and they thought it was anonymous. I think it should be. Why do you think it should be anonymous? It's line dancing. It's line dancing, guys. I understand, and Dave just brought up the politics half, and not to turn this into politics, but okay. Being anonymous for voting for something that big in charge, okay, fine. We're talking about running a country. We're talking about a prime minister. We're talking about line dancing. We're talking about if it ended tomorrow, the world is still going to be going on. Okay? This is not determined, and this is the thing, people, I just don't understand it. If you have no problems, and Megan Barcelia said this a little bit ago, you're kind of already picking who you're voting for by determining what dances you're going to teach. Okay? You determine what dances you're going to teach by the dances you like and the choreographers you like. That's a given. That's anything. I have no problem, and me and Trevor go through this all the time. I have no problem telling Trevor when I like and don't like a dance he's done. We've had it before. He did the one that broke. I told him, I go, it wasn't my cup of tea. Why? It had nothing to do with the dance. I'm not a fan of the song. And I had no problems with telling them that. That's just how it is.
But that's how it should be. You don't have to be rude to somebody. You don't have to be cruel to
Right.
somebody.
And like,
To say that, well, do you know what, that was, okay, that wasn't for me. I openly say it on my own shows, or to anybody that asks. Everyone, the style of dancers I love are your smooth dancers. I love waltzes. I love nightclubs. Anything that's my cup of tea. That's what I like to do. Being that I don't dance, and I don't dance with those other dancers, but I dance I do things that I'm comfortable with, as such. Um, so yeah, if I laugh at Michael when Michael does his show, when he does his New Line show, and he plays some banging tunes as he calls them. Do you know, some of those banging tunes are not for me? And do you know what? No, I'm afraid, sorry guys, you're not going to go and get me to vote for some of those,
no.
because um. So this is what I mean. Stop thinking about you. This is a good point. And the fact is, what are you voting for? Are you voting for the dance, which
There it
you should be
is.
voting for? Are you voting for the music? Are you voting for the choreographer? And as far as I'm concerned, you should be voting for the dance. The other, all right, music, okay, is relevant because obviously you've got to like it. But
Right.
does it matter who's written the dance?
No.
Really, does it? Does it matter who's written it? If it's a good dance, it flows to the music. And some people may not agree with that, and that's perfect. I don't. And
Right.
again, that's you wouldn't fall. Again, that's another thing. I wouldn't fall out with you over it. That's your opinion.
Right.
Um, I mean, one thing I've just seen Betty's comment, and I need to reiterate this. What she said. She says about the vote
Right.
about things being anonymous. She's put, no, they're not anonymous. The whole point of letting people see who voted for what dance is about its transparency and integrity of the chart, and that
Right.
is, that she is totally 100% with that.
Yeah.
Totally, we should be, a wide, I do get a bit lost actually on why people are, want to hide what they voted for.
Right.
Um,
I don't understand it. Are you here? And this goes to, are you guys really afraid of not voting for a list choreographer because you're afraid that it's going to show you that you're supporting someone new? Like the whole point, and I take this back to, um, the choreography competition, the World Dance Masters, USLDCC, all these amateur choreography competitions. Okay, eventually people are going to retire. People are going to stop doing this. If we don't have new people coming up and getting the support, it's not, you're not going to be able to vote for Scott Blevins and Joe Thompson Szymanski and all these people, Maggie Gallagher and all these people forever. Eventually they're going to stop doing it. It happens. It's just life, guys. Eventually people are going to be gone from dancing. If we don't have constantly have new people coming in.
Well, I'll just you say put this one in. I think especially this year, again, some good, very good friends of us all only know, and have learned this year how short life can be.
Right.
Okay, so like you've said, it's dancing.
Right.
It's line dancing, right? What? I asked the question. What do you do it for?
Right. Exactly.
Fun? Do you do it for the money? Do you do it for your next piece of crystal? What what do you actually do it for? So, to say that I've now 25, coming into 25 years of me doing it, I do it for the fun. I do it because I enjoy it. Okay, a lot of work. All right. Okay, yeah. I'm quite honest. People know. How I am quite blunt.
Right.
Most of the Line Dancer Radio team know how blunt I am
Yep.
with my opinion, but it's the truth. I tell the truth, and not everybody likes to hear it sometimes. So, yeah, Betty will listen to, bless her heart, she'll listen to me sometimes, and but at least I always say, look, well, this is how this is how I think things should go, or should, but and she says to me, well, yes, and no, says to me sometimes, behave yourself. So
The funny thing
I just think the whole thing with
the funny thing I find, Dave, is the people who do it for the money, who are doing it for a living, are some of the biggest ones.
Which, don't get me wrong, but again, that's you're doing it for. I mean, yes, people do it for a living, and that's I don't really mean it in that sense,
right?
But right, those some of them don't vote.
They're the ones that are not right. Those are the ones that are not voting. That's the funny thing. Like
I mean, this is such an open-ended question of, which I always think would be great if there was, in some respect of your local, and I don't mean the choreographers, I don't mean names, I mean every instructor that's out there that turns up, teaches all their classes week in, week out, no matter how, again, the only way of doing this is you reach out to them and you find out, well, what would make it easier for people to vote, or what would encourage them to vote. I mean, it's all right, we can all go out there and say you must vote. You can say that, again, I know Debbie commented on something recently on Facebook. Somebody had put a comment and actually put out there and says, well, do you know what? The Line Dancer radio team DJs on virtually every show try and encourage people to vote. And what else do you want us to do? So, it's a kind of, well, I would love to hear from other people. What would you like us to do in that sense? If there was something that encouraged you to vote, what would it be? And can we put that in place?
Right. Betty just commented, we never had this problem when we published charts in the magazine. People were always keen to have their top 10 published each month. Of course, because then they get the recognition. They're in the middle of them. They're like, I'm in Line Dancer magazine. Of course, that was a course.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted.
Yeah, I must admit though, I did find with the magazine, was the dance reviews. And I love to see that in one respect, because the instructors said, in one respect, it's a bit like the poll. People had said what they taught, the things were done in class, and they gave a little review of what it was. And yeah, it did prompt me to go and look at certain dances. I thought, oh, right, okay, we've not done that with class yet, so let me go and let me go and have a look what it's all about. Going back, I was trying to follow guys that are actually commenting here. What do you do? What do you do it for? I want to know. When you're voting for a dance, why are you voting for? I'd like to know why you're voting for that dance.
Right.
Are you voting because you think it's great? Are you just voting for it because you like the person that's written it?
Yep. Like Pauline just says, if you vote, you have your say. If you don't, take what you're given. Exactly. If you don't vote,
exactly.
If you don't vote, plain and simple. There you go. There you have it.
But again, guys, I think it's if you're voting every month, if you carry on and vote every month, then we're going to start to have maybe a chart again that we did in the magazine of dancers. The only this time round we've got maybe again a more of an international chart, or would like to think we would. So you've got, it's not just the top 10 or 20 of all UK instructors or choreographers. It's got people from all over the place. That's what I always like about the teaching poll, because you get something so varied.
Yes, Nick just said, and I like this because I want to bring up a point on this. Nick just said, I totally agree, Kelly. There has to be room for everyone, and we dance for the love of dance, even as a job / career. My opinion is you should only ever do something for the right reason. Accolades are earned and rewarded and should not be expected because of your name. Exactly. Are you telling me if Gary O'Reilly never won a Crystal Boot, you'd stop doing his dances? People are still going to do people's dances even if they don't boot. If Maggie Gallagher never won a boot, if Rob Fowler never won a boot, guess what? People are still doing his dances. There are dances that never won a boot that are doing dances. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the Beast never won a boot. Am I right?
It did. Yeah, no, it did. It got the icon. It was awarded the iconic dance, which iconic quite dance, rightly so, because it is.
But right, it is.
Um, I was going with that, but there's dancers out there that have been major dancers, floor fillers worldwide that haven't won a crystal boot.
Yeah, there's lots of dances that are better. Like Rachel did tons of dances that never won boots. Are you going to stop doing those dances of Rachel's just because they've never won a boot? Come on. Or Scott Blevins
Exactly.
or any of the
No,
choreographers.
no.
Wild Wild West. Jose just taught an iconic dance done by Jerry Seeby and Jason Cameron. Wild Wild West. He just taught it. He just taught it last week. Are you telling me you're going to stop doing Wild Wild West because they never got a boot? Come on. People are still going to do dance if they don't get a boot. You can vote for what you want. There are plenty of dances out there that are being done.
I mean, you bet is made a comment here, which you probably most people would shock. You know, iconic dance because it had never been nominated.
Right.
The Beast had never been nominated.
What is
not enough votes ever? You know, hello.
Yeah, you just look at it like what?
Hello. Hello.
I'm like, really?
Yeah, I'm astounded.
Right, come on, the Beast. That's like, are you kidding me right now? That's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Oh man, but yeah, it's stuff like that. You gonna stop? Did anybody stop doing the Beast just because it never got voted for? No. You can vote.
Okay, so
you can vote. And the thing is, this is the one thing I don't think people realize. And someone said this. You can vote for multiple dances, guys. You don't just have to vote for one intermediate dance. You can vote for every dance you like. Vote for them. Plain and simple. If you like 18 different dances that came out that month, vote for them all.
I love the comment that's come in here. As I'm trying to look down the comments here, I'm looking at one from Amy Gross. She says she miss teaching my beginners so much. I was teaching a 25-year-old with some special needs, and she's taught me more than I'll ever teach her. And that is why I love to teach. And I have to read that out. Because that says it all, really, about why you do what you do.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's exactly why.
And Audrey, hello, Audrey, from France. Zoom voting. She says Zoom voting parties.
Yeah. She commented that, and then Betty said that might be a good idea to hold a Zoom workshop for those who to understand how to vote. Get someone in different languages, or even hold an American one. Like I did mine. That was a big reason why I did the show last week. I did the show and I showed everyone exactly how you can go vote. And I went through and I showed everyone how to nominate for the Crystal Boots. I walked everybody through it. I think, and this is the thing, the question is, guys, are you having trouble voting? Or are you having trouble voting because your votes are going to be seen? That, I think, is a better question. I honestly think, and after some of the comments, seeing some of the people, what they said, and you know, some of the discussions we've had, I don't think the voting part's the problem. I think the fact that people are going to know. I think that's more the problem.
I was just about to say, actually, yeah, that.
I think that might actually be more the problem.
But I will go back to the start of the show, in the fact with classes as such. So you know, I mean, some of our classes. I mean, or when I've been DJing, you can get some of the weirdest requests, which you have to decipher. Because you get a name on a request slip, and you frantically start looking for this and think, I've never heard of this. Right. And you think, well, I must have it. It's there somewhere. And then you suddenly click and think, oh my God, they meant that. Instead, they don't mean this. This is the wrong title. So you've got people, and I say, our own class do it. They're hilarious. They come in and go, oh, Dave, we don't remember the names. We don't remember, you know, it's that one. And then I get and then it's hilarious. I get a description of what's in the track of the music. And some of what comes out is, you know, our class are hilarious. They come out with all kinds of things. But again, some of the class are, yes, they vote. Some of them do, but then there's some just in the class. It's not of an interest to them. I don't.
Right.
And I think there's probably other instructors maybe who are tuned in or maybe might watch this back and say, well, actually, yeah, that sums up my class.
Right.
But I would say is that, like you say, some of the let's put it this way, some of the well known instructors, the well-known choreographers, um, if you want people to vote and you want people to vote for you, well, then maybe it's maybe part of your job when you are out at all your events, not just getting people to vote for your dancers, but to get for people.
Voting for other
And
dances.
every year at the Crystal Booty Awards, there's always somebody there that you will hear. Somebody will moan, or somebody will say after it, "Well, that shouldn't have won. That should have won." Did you vote? Well, no. Well, if you
No.
didn't vote, then it's your own fault, then, isn't it? That because there have been. I'm sure Betty. I don't know if this has ever happened, but Betty will probably tell us. Has there ever been a time when a dance has won by one vote? Because
True.
that's what it could come down to. It's what it could come down. If you think about it, it could come down to one vote that a dance misses out.
Betty just said quite a lot of dancers are happy to go to a local class and don't even know about choreographers or voting. They're just happy to dance
Yes.
right now.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that I do know, and I guess like, I know like Dave just says to summarize, just vote every month. It's very thing, and that's the thing. Why my curiosity, and like you just said that, I don't know why, and I'll use this perfect example, Lonely Drum. I use this as an example for a lot of things, and it was written by, at least over here, not a well-known choreographer, Darren Mitchell, but a very well-known choreographer decided to take it under her wing and teach it everywhere. Now, Maddie could have been selfish and write over Darren and release a dance by her own record to that song, and it probably would have been just as popular of a hit. Why? Because Madison took it everywhere and taught it. But she didn't. She turned around and took a dance by someone else and decided to teach it and promote the daylights out of it.
I think Scott Blevins is another good example of that. He
Yes.
does the same.
Betty just said, yes, there has been an occasion when I had the deciding vote between two dances. It was a horrible thing to do. Wow. What does that tell
Ouch.
you? What does that tell you? Whoo! Man. That's just bad. That and
but that's
yes,
that's just a clear example, though, isn't it? It's
right. And Megan just said that she has to. It's hard. She has hard voting, picking a favorite every month to vote for, because and like Michael said, you can vote for more than one. And Megan said, well, you only have to pick one for the finals. I feel like I'm cheating on the ones I don't choose. I get that, but like there are some months where there's no absolute beginner dances really come out. There's no advanced dances that come out. There might only be improver and intermediate. Like the other day, I went back and voted for a couple, and it was a lot of the same two levels. But I voted for 3 or 4 one level, 3 or 4 the other level, and that's just how it was, because there's not many dances of the other categories. But it's only going to be one in the final. You can vote for the same. That's like saying you're going to take. I know you still always vote, Megan. We talk about this, but I get it. You can vote for the same dance for 12 months, and that you can show your support. Like I'm pretty sure if and this was a thing like Come Alive and stuff like that. People just didn't vote for Come Alive once and go away, because that did come the end of the year. It's not going to have. If you only vote for the dances for 1 month, it's not going to turn around and have enough votes to get you into the finals of the CBAs. That's just how it is. You got to keep voting, and I think that's the problem. You can vote for, in a way, this is a lot better than anything. You get to vote for more than one candidate in a way. Every month you get multiple candidates. You can vote for anything you want, and when a dance gets first released, you might not like it enough to vote for it, and it might be 2 or 3 months down the road, and you finally got to learn the dance and got to take the class to learn the dance, and now you want to vote for it because you like it. And that's the thing. Like there's plenty of dances. Like we just had a bunch of new dances come out at Florida Line Dance Classic that got released. John Robinson released 3. Rachel released. Rachel did brought back one. Trevor releases a couple. There's a lot of dances that are released that we're seeing for the first time. Now people went through and can vote for those dances because they're released once they're up on Line Dancer Web. And I think that's the other thing. I do notice a big factor, guys. Put your dances on both sites. Put your dances on both the sites. Put it on, if you're going to put it on Copper Knob, automatically send it to Line Dancer Web or send it to and what I've been doing lately, I actually send it to Line Dancer Web first. Why? Because that's the one that actually matters. Yes, people can view it, and the most views might get you the top of the most viewed chart. That just means a lot of people click on your dance and actually looked at the step sheet.
I'm just a comment's just coming off. I can just jump in with it from Amy Gross. Now, this is something that I said this is a while ago. So an example is that she's I just got to finally learn Pull You Through yesterday and love it. Now that dance has been out now, for a good while. Now, This is what happens on the teaching poll. So something will appear, and it even may make it into the top 20 teach.
Right.
And I will get comments or I will get messages from people, and they'll go, "Why is that in your top 20?"
Yeah.
Some people didn't get to learn it the first time. People didn't get to learn it or teach it the first time round.
Right.
And and again, I would, I get the question. This is another one another show that you can do. Another show you can do. What will you be teaching when you finally can go back to classes in a hopefully in a normal way again?
Yeah, that's a whole nother biscuits to run up.
What you're going to be teaching? Are you going are you going to pick out some great dancers, and ones I think you should, that have been released throughout 2020 through the lockdown, or are you just going, or I as an instructor, are you just going to go, well, no, because are you just going to go, no, they're old now, not interested, so we'll just do what's been released now. So will you go back to dances you did before lockdown?
Well, if Florida Line Dance Classic was any test to that, no. A lot of dances that got taught were newer dances, or I would say from the last 6 months. There was a couple that were about a year old, but most of it was new stuff. Like I know different choreographers brought new teaches. They didn't go back and they didn't teach new stuff, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that the next event now, and now that more events have been canceled. I know Fort Wayne got announced yesterday, got canceled. As more events get canceled, I'm curious what people, what dances are going to be taught at the next event and when we're going to see another event in person. So, but yeah, everyone's like, you can't stop this in 5 minutes. You can't, guys. Unfortunately, I am stopping on time today because I actually have dinner I have dinner plans. With it being so close to Christmas, Kelly and I are going back to her parents for Christmas next week. So we're trying to do some of our Christmas with some of our people up now in our new home up here. So we have dinner plans tonight. But I will gladly, we can gladly do a part 2 of this at a later date. Guys, what have we learned from this episode? Vote. Go vote. Go right now. Pull up linedancerweb.com. If you don't have an account, make an account. It's free. It's absolutely free to vote, guys. Vote a ton of times. Vote for any dance you want. Any dance that you've liked this past year. Go and vote for it. Let your vote get heard. Huge thank you, Mr. Dave Morgan, for coming on and doing this with me. I know me and you we never shy away from a conversation like this, and I have no problem saying it.
Kelly did only ask me last night. This
I did.
Been planned. This got dragged, as you can say. I've just got literally before I've got on tonight. I've just got home from work, and it was the same last night.
It did. Yeah, I had planned the show.
I went, I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do this, that kind of thing.
Right. I knew I was going to do the show. But last night talking to Dave after I did the broadcast with the boys, I asked him, I go, this is the show I'm going to do. You're the perfect person to have on it with it. I go, would you be willing to come on with it? I go, I know you'll be home from work. And he goes, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So it was awesome. I'm very appreciative. Thank you guys for the comments. hopefully you'll go back and watch, and other people will go back and watch. And I love doing these shows like this where we have great topics, and I will continue to do shows like this with great topics because you know what? I'm not afraid to ask the crazy questions that everybody wants to know the answers to. But huge thank you, Mr. Morgan. Guys, I'll let you know.
Thank you, sir.
I'll let you know what the next week's show is going to be. I think we're only going to do one show next week with Christmas starting. But definitely tune into Streamline this weekend with the boys. I know Blair teaches on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Is that not right, Dave?
She does, and I'm afraid I won't be there. I'll be at work. So yeah.
I remember you saying that.
Unfortunately, I will get to this, but let's put it this way: we don't need to worry. I don't need to worry about Blair. Blair tells me what to do. Tells me how to do what I should be doing these days. So there we go.
But hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Adios.
Bye for now. Thanks, guys.